Okay, morning everybody. It is Tuesday, and we're playing some Red Black Rock with a little bit of updates. One small change to the main deck, where the Hammer Time matchup has been kind of popular and not feeling great lately, so I'm up to 2 Kolaghan's Command main, which I think will help some. You still have all the engineered explosives in the sideboard and the first Alpine Moon. But most of the tech from today is in the sideboard. One of the things is Ob Nixilis the Adversary. This is mostly your sideboard card for burn. This even potentially represents, you know, a 4-point life swing every single turn if you can get a devil in play. While also being a card that you can bring in against... It's mostly spell-based combo, I think. I don't know that you necessarily want this card against... Tron and Titan. You probably bring it in against blue-white control, or at least like the first copy, but it's mostly for the burn matchup. But then I think the real interesting tech is Break the Ice, and it's not interesting for the reason you think it is. I know that you see Break the Ice, and you just read it as, you see this card, and it reads like, you know, boring Tron sideboard card. But yes, it comes in against Tron, of course, but this is the new tech, I think, for the 4-color Omnath matchup, at least for red black. This is 4-color Omnath tech, because they fetch their basics super aggressively, especially against like red based decks that might have moon effects. Although, you know, I think most people know Rakdos doesn't usually play moon effects, and I think that 2-mana Stone Rain is really good in the matchup. Just like slow them down a turn, keep getting ahead on board. I kind of waffle between playing 2 Break the Ice and 3 over the first Alpine Moon. I think you still want the first Alpine Moon. And then like the general sideboard plan is to bring in 1 Liliana, 2 Break the Ice, 1 Turok, 1 Pithy Needle, 1 Hearse for the Kolaghan's commands, and then I'm not sure if I want to leave in 1 push or 1 bolt, but one of those two, or play 1 ob. I'm not 100% sure. Merc, 12 months.
What's up? It's me,
Can be dicey versus Ren. Yeah, that's true. But I've also been like liking Hearse a lot against. I bring in like the second Hearse and the Needle, so you have like more answers to Ren. I don't know how long this will be good tech. I don't think that this will be forever good tech, but I think for right now, you can be able to get some people with it. And then one other kind of small thing is, like, for the longest time, I've been playing, like, 1 Terminate in the sideboard of Rakdos, largely to hedge against, like, Murktide, right? And you have an extra answer to Murktide. But I realized yesterday... it should just be another Liliana of the Veil, because Liliana of the Veil is also a really good answer to Murktide, but Liliana is an incredible card in the Murktide matchup, and then Liliana is another card you can bring against Tron, against Titan, against Omnath. I think the card is like actively good against Omnath. So that's my current new thinking. I know I had 3 main, no side earlier, and it kind of looks like I just pushed this to the side, but really I replaced the Terminate with the Liliana, and I hope that makes sense. Jeff, thank you for the 14 months. Appreciate you. Merc with the 12. Happy anniversary. Okay, weird hand I'm going to keep. Playing the rack. Yeah, so we'll see how this this tech pans out. I have high hopes for it. I don't think that it solves the matchup. There's like no, like, you know, you can't just play 1 or 2 cards and solve the Omnath matchup, unfortunately. Thank you. Yeah, lots of people coming from YouTube for the first time lately, which is very cool. Yeah, I definitely, yeah, obviously, I do think them drawing Portable Hole was kind of bad for me. Yeah, so I guess I just have to take Urza with the Thoughtseize, Inquisition, the Portable Hole, and then I can save the Thoughtseize for second Urza. I can't play the Ragavan this turn. Yeah, I always feel like it's better to watch on Twitch, just like, the quality is way better, getting to actually interact with the streamer, but I obviously know it's not an option all the time. Well, they don't have another blue source, at least. I think I'm going to dash the Ragavan. I think I just really want to prioritize having a 4th mana for Kroxa. You seen any Vannifar decks in Pioneer? Also, of course, now I just Ragavan them into the blue source. Of course. Any Vannifar decks in Pioneer? I've seen. I've had some deck techs for the Vannifar decks in Pioneer. Recently, I don't think I have super strong opinions on them, but they're kind of cool. I guess I'll just play the Ragavan. I can fear the Ragavan through the Urza, although I may be more likely just to skip Croaks next turn. Yeah, I think the Vannifar, like 4 toughness creatures for 4 mana are just like really freaking good. I was writing this a little bit. I did a highlight on Doomwake's like red-green mid-range deck yesterday, and I really liked all the 4 damage removal spells because they like kill Kalitas, kill Thing in the Eyes, kill a Connived Ledger Shredder, kill a Crackling Drake. Okay, yeah, I guess we're just gonna skip Croaks here because we didn't draw the land. Drew the 5th discard spell. When discards Kaldra complete. More like Kaldra incomplete, am I right? There's a Saga, and they can spin now. Blue-black Rogues. In Modern. Playing Noggin Whack. We actually, like, a long time ago, went through, like, a whole day of... messing with Rogues in Modern. It's definitely a very, very difficult archetype to to build. Maybe even harder to build well. Okay, that's an interesting one. We should be able to fear the Ragavan, then play the Kolaghan's Command. Although I'm not sure exactly what I want to do with it. I'm hitting my opponent for 8 here, which puts them 1 life out of Kolaghan's Command range. I mean, if this hits them and I get to hit them with Kolaghan's Command, that's gonna be lethal. I think I'm just gonna hold up the command though, because I can Thoughtseize and then kill them with the Kroxa trigger if they hold the card in hand. The only Salmon, thank you for the tier 1, appreciate you. Played like my 5th league ever last night, got my first 5-0. That's awesome. That's awesome. Very cool. Happy to hear it. So your name's Shizo, I guess. That's interesting. Okay, so Rogues in Modern are so I get a little stuck because so the direction I went was I really liked Noggin Whack, and then so let me see if I still have like this is a very old list. There's a good chance I don't have it anymore. Yeah, I had Dimir Rogues with Kaito. I thought this list was pretty good. Seeing no Kaitos in your list is actually kind of surprising. But I was playing Invisible Stalker. Invisible Stalker was like the cream of the crop, and then you played Invisible Stalker, Curious Obsession as your card advantage engine, and you also played Noggin Whack, too. And I thought that build was kind of interesting. You played like a lot more 1-mana rogues too. You know, it's been a little while since I played it. I don't know I don't think that version was like amazing. We threw to some leagues with it. We had a lot of fun. I will also say that in general, I feel like the rogues archetype is lacking card quality. You know, when you're signing up to play rogues in Modern, you're choosing to play cards. You're making the active choice to play Zulaport Duelist over a card like Dragon Rage's Channeler or Ragavan or Ledger Shredder. I think Zareth San is not the payoff I'd be wanting to play either. Like, I'd be more interested in the ninja from Modern Horizons 1 that casts the spells on the top of your opponent's library. I think that card is going to generally be better for you. I don't know, maybe we're getting the Needle, the Alpine Moon, maybe 1 Break the Ice. And maybe not a Break the Ice. I think I'm cutting a Liliana. Cutting 1 Turok. Cutting 3rd Inquisition. I think for the 1 Break the Ice. This seems fine. Oh, I guess I want some explosives, actually. Yeah, I'm going to want some explosives. Maybe I'll play like 2 explosives over 2 Croaks. Against like the blue-white affinity list, they're not as good, but you still want some. Shouldn't you have EOT that command since you have Thoughtseize? I did EOT the command, right? Yeah, I did. I thought I cast it at the end of turn. I would also, in basically any modern deck with Thoughtseize, I would recommend playing the 4 Thoughtseize before the first Inquisition. I've been saying this a lot lately, but there's just kind of like no shortage to cards that like Thoughtseize hits are really important to hit that Inquisition misses. Urza, Omnath, Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, Murktide Region is one of the biggest ones. Solitude, Fury, Karns, Primeval Titans. And like with Burn is like, making a little bit of a comeback for sure, but it's still just like not nearly as popular as it once was. And with that being the case, I just don't think that you're very much incentivized at all to be playing like any number of Inquisition over any number of Thoughtseize. I would play the 4th Drown probably over the 4th Counterspell. I'd be playing 4 Fatal Push. I'd be trying to shoot for like 16 total creatures, probably cutting your Zulaport Duelist, your Xerath Sands, your Snapcaster Mages. And that gets you down to 16 creatures. You can play 4 Fatal Push, 4 Thoughtseize, 2 Inquisition, 4 Drown, maybe 4 Drown, 4 Counterspell. Okay, so let's go Unlicensed Hearse first, so then Hearse can break up the Thopter Sword combo. Take the Tribute Mage, don't care too much about the Kaldra. Urza Saga pretty good though. It's kind of like a lot of loose thoughts. I would prefer to play like any card over Earwork Squad. I think that I would be playing. I don't think you need Surgical Extraction with these 4-man deck Voidwalkers. Maybe you could play like 2 Unlicensed Hearse or something, but I'm not a big fan of Surgical. Bizarro, thank you for the 18 months. Appreciate you. Oh, should not have. No, if they have Metallic Rebuke, I just kill them with Kroxa Trigger. Yeah, like I don't need to be worried about Metallic Rebuke in that spot. Right? Maybe I'm missing something. Okay, so probably going to try to Engineered Explosives on 0. See what happens. Yeah, I brewed a little bit with Greasefang in Modern. I think that the best Modern Greasefang decks all play Goblin Engineer as like an Entomb for Parhelion. And I had like some like mediocre results with it, nothing too crazy. I got their odds deck thing. I see. I signed up for a 22-person qualifier. I think I should play the safe choice of Hammer or the Spice of Prowess variant, your Phoenix or Ground Rift variant, assuming I have equal experience with both. I kind of think the Ground Rift. I think the Ground Rift deck is great, but it definitely has some like swings. You know what I mean? It's got some swings. I don't know. Hammer is a fine choice. You know, one of my best friends really likes to play Hammer. Used to play a lot of Infect, and I talk to him like every single day about these aggro decks, and like these exact same decision points, and you know, like my general conclusion or my general thought on the matter is that it's basically impossible to go to a Modern tournament and play against a player who does not have sideboard cards for your Hammer Time deck, who is not like super ready to like smash a Hammer Time player. And I even feel like it's becoming a little more popular right now. I think I want to Turok here. Turok this turn, then Explosives next turn, chump 1, take 1. You know what I mean? It's just like impossible to like play against someone who's not like incredibly ready to like, you know, have all these super effective sideboard cards against you, which makes it very difficult in my opinion. Oh dude, we left them with the Cauldron hand, awesome. But that makes it very difficult in my opinion to, they didn't portable, sorry, I'm getting kind of sunlocked. That, again, in my opinion, that makes it really difficult to like spike a tournament with Hammer Time, because it's just so easy to lose like 2 matches because your opponents drew 3 sideboard cards or something. So I would recommend one of those 2 Prowess variants. I think Blue-Red Phoenix is like way more consistent. The deck's really good, and I also think Ground Rift is like definitely higher upside, but less consistent. Yeah, I'm holding Hearse for a Thopter Sword here. Deck for salmon. Yeah. Let me try to finish this game. Although this is okay. This is weird. I'll see if I can wrap my head around this. Alright, so let me see if this Explosives is resolving. I would hate to dash the Ragavan and then get Metallic rebuked. My opponent can sack Sword, then sack Relic to save the Sword if they want to. But I think that's gonna be okay. Alright, we'll play the Sentinel. And then, I don't think I'm shocking to hold up Fatal Push. Having a hard time imagining that mattering very much. Wasn't EE better on 2? I don't really think so, because that just kills the Thopter Foundry. I mean, killing the Sword is not that relevant. It kills my own Hearse, kills my own Turok, and doesn't kill these 6/6 tokens. I don't think so, no. Do not think so. Okay, this is a interesting deck tech. I feel like there's some sauce being lost in. Can someone please find me Canister's Song of Creation list? Because I think Canister's Song of Creation list is like very focused, is like how I would build the deck, and I think there's a lot of like a lot of like what I would consider deck building errors here. Burn Down the House, Cultivates Growth Spiral, maybe. Prismari Command, Think Twice for sure. Fading Hope. Only 3 copies of Song of Creation. I think all of these are deck building decisions I would not make with this archetype. I will also say that. The idea of foretelling Alrund's Epiphany, and so that you don't have to discard it to Song of Creation, is a cool idea, but it's also an idea that is like too slow for Modern most of the time, in my opinion. Do I want a Talisman? Why not? Yeah, so whoever, I can't remember who did the deck tech, but this list, this Song of Creation list by Canister, I can pull it up here. He's been working on this a lot. Demonic Tutors have been playing a lot of it too. This list gets to play like a much lower mana curve. It gets to be much more consistent, and all these 0 drops make it to where you're really often able to resolve Song of Creation and win immediately, which is really important for a format like Modern, where people are going to be combo killing you on turn 3 a lot of the time. They're going to be playing, you know, Karns and Primeval Titans, and they're going to be going crazy. And just being able to kill your opponent immediately is just kind of so important when your combo in Modern revolves around resolving a 4 mana enchantment. Okay, so let's push this. My opponent can, if my opponent sacks the, yeah, they sack the Sword, and then I Hearse the Sword, finally tapping the Hearse on turn 8. They can sack the Portable Hole to get the Sword back, but then they give me back my Dauthi Voidwalker, and so they do get the Sword back, but they can't continue the loop because I have Dauthi Voidwalker. No, the deck was Modern. There was Think Twice and Utopia Sprawl and Lightning Bolt. BW, thank you for the 17 months. Appreciate you. What's up with the Ob and Break the Ice on the sideboard? Yeah, so Ob is for the burn matchup, and then Break the Ice is new tech against the Omnath matchup, because they tend to fetch their basics super aggressively, and just get, oh dude, into another Urza? Unreal. Unreal. Wow. Sorry, but they tend to fetch their basics. Season Partner are a good top deck. They tend to fetch their basics super aggressively, and I guess I should have tapped the Talisman. And I think the turn 2 Stone Rains are something I want access to. At least a couple copies. Don't think I need to be too afraid of that Kaldra, right? Like, they don't have nearly enough mana to play Kaldra and equip it to one of these constructs this turn. So my plan is going to be to try to race them with these Voidwalkers, right? And then Beard through 2 months. Glad you're liking the stream. Yeah, glad to have you here, Salmon. Yeah, so I don't think that the Break the Ice tech is going to be like good forever or anything, but I do think it's kind of like an interesting gotcha, like a way to swing the matchup for a little bit. We'll see like how. See, I don't know that they'll like ever really like super adjust to it either. Gonna pay the 1. They don't pay the 1, and I draw Kolaghan's Command. Sky Croissant, thank you for the 8 months. Could you play Dauthi with Voidwalker? I could, but the 3/2 unblockable is actually better than Kaldra here, right? Weren't they dead on board with the Dash Ragavan? No, they can gain life with Thopter Foundry. They can gain life with Thopter Foundry. Why did I throw away the Rag with Pyro? Isn't Rag better than a token? Or the legendary that big a deal? It's more about like the I like the Ragavan on this board is not much better than a token. It's incredibly marginal, I think, where a Ragavan and a token are going to trade for a Thopter, like basically no matter what, or get blocked by something bigger. And so the fact that with Seasoned Pyromancer, I can discard the Ragavan and maybe play like 2/2 drops or like a 3-drop. You know, get to use my mana more efficiently. I think is what I was prioritizing there. Okay, I'm just gonna take 5. It's going well, Funky. How you doing? You're gonna spin post combat, just tapping their creatures for a spin. I guess they're just desperate. Well, they're super dead. Yeah, Sudden Shock would have been pretty good there. Okay, I want to know. Glad they beat these affinity decks. I feel like I've been losing a lot to them lately. Not we got the second Kolaghan's Command now, so the matchup's just about shored up, I think. Okay, on the draw, kind of weird to have Voidwalker, the not double black, but I think I can keep. Yeah, Obnexus is mostly for the bird matchup. It gains a ton of life, but then you can also bring it against blue-white control, spell-based combo. I think that if I play against 4-color Omnath, I may try to play 1 copy against them. It's probably not correct, though. But I do have 1 sideboard slot in that matchup I'm not 100% sure on. I thought about playing the 3rd Break the Ice over the Alpine Moon just for that sideboard slot. But then it's I'm either playing 1 Lightning Bolt or 1 Fatal Push in that spot. I'm not really sure. Finks, thank you for 12 months. Appreciate you. Yeah, adding more unfun cards does not solve the problem that there are already unfun cards in the format. That's a better way to phrase it than I did. Playing against a creativity deck. Love to see a Archon of Cruelty in hand when I have a Dauthi Voidwalker. I kind of think I'm supposed to take at least the first Fable here, and then maybe I can take the second Fable with the second Thoughtseize and keep them off creativity targets. But ideally, what I really want to have happen is I just draw Black Source this turn. Oh, dude, this is like the opposite of a Black Source. Okay, then I'll just Thoughtseize the second Fable, and then as soon as I draw a Black Source, I can keep up the Lightning Bolt for them going creativity on a token, too. Oh, no. Spike, what am I looking for in a hand with this deck? We decide to mulligan or not. I mean, that's kind of like a very simple way to phrase what is like an incredibly complicated question. It's a very complicated question. I'm trying to think how I could give you some kind of like brief answer that would be in any way like helpful, but like it's a bit complicated, you know. I've written a lot on the topic of keeping and mulliganing with like Ragavan decks, and I've written a lot of deck guides for this deck for Channel Fireball. You could consume some content there. You know, in most mid-range decks, especially game 1 in the blind, you're looking for, you know, to some extent, functional lands and spells, you know, but it's definitely more costable than that. Why Bolt there with nothing else castable? I guess I'm going to Lightning Bolt that token no matter what. Oh no, I guess I'm not. I don't need to Lightning Bolt that token no matter what. No, I do, right? I do have to bolt the token no matter what, because they're going to be able to. they're going to be able to use the creativity against me if I don't. Okay, because they're going to get attacking the treasure, so I think I just needed to use the mana, right? I know my opponent's hand is Archon of Cruelty, Fable of the Mirror Breaker, Mystery card. If that Mystery card's another Spell Pierce, playing Turok first is pretty bad, but getting the Turok to 3/2 against the deck with the tokens is also like a pretty big priority. Okay. That's pretty good for me. How much better is Din versus Hive for manlands in this deck? Do you value the token creation over the Evasion of Menace? Yeah, the token creation is huge. The Menace is minor, is kind of how I would evaluate it. It's nice. It's not bad to have Menace, but it's not like I think that's like huge. Like, you know, in a deck like this too, that's like trading resources so aggressively and so efficiently, having a manland that makes creature tokens and gives you an actual board advantage when both players are top decking is like, it's kind of crazy. Okay, so we need to fade a creativity for maybe 2 more turns, maybe 1 more turn. Seems weird they go for creativity last turn. Yeah, it does. Urborg is a little sketch. Well, I mean, I have to play it to double Voidwalker here. I guess I'm confused also why it's sketch here. Doesn't Voidwalker stop creativity? It does not, no. So they can block here, still have creativity, be live. But then, no, I beat a creativity X equals 1, and they can't go more than X equals 1 because they can't crack the maces anymore. Letting them hardcast Archon? I don't know. Like, they're 2 lands away from hardcast Archon. It is 100% correct to play the Voidwalker. Play the Urborg, play two Voidwalkers. I don't know. Feels silly to maybe even argue against anything else. So okay, they did find a polymorph, and they have to find something else here. They have to, yeah, but they even have to deal with 2 of the Voidwalkers. Okay, so I'm gonna bring in the 3rd Liliana. They don't play Snow Basics, so we're not bringing in Break the Ice. I probably do want the 2nd Hearse. I'm not. It kind of looks like they're on Gab's list, which isn't playing Persist anymore, so maybe I don't want the Hearses. Because these creativity lists were playing a lot of Persist, now it seems they're not. How do you feel about Fury in the deck? He wasn't arguing against playing it? I see. So I was just a bit confused by your phrasing. I think one Alpine Moon's fine. I don't usually like EE for tokens. The thing about Engineered Explosives, it's just like, it's so easy to play around, you know what I mean? And you always have to hold up 2 mana for it. I would actually be like pretty into Ratchet Bomb, but the fact that the explosives is on board, they never have to play into it. They have answers for the explosives as a permanent. It's not like, you know, hold up 2 mana, you can't win the game. I think you have to hold up 2 mana forever. I think I usually don't like it. You could play it. It's obviously not horrible, but I don't usually like it. Do they play Persist? The older versions do, but Gab has been playing a version that doesn't play it. So I think, and it looks like it's Gab's list with like the main deck Spell Pierce. I really liked Boros Golos. Lotus deck, I was wondering what you thought about bringing in a Titania and Wrenn and 6 in the place of a couple Nahiri, Bloodsun, or Wildfire. So the thing about Wrenn and 6 is if you're going to play a Bloodsun Lotus Field deck, you can't play, or you shouldn't play fetch lands. And then Wrenn and 6 and Titania in the deck without fetch lands is just like too much tension. How do you feel about Fury in the deck? Oh yeah, sorry, kind of lost my train of thought. Fury is an okay option, although in general, I don't feel like this deck needs to hedge more for creature-based matchups. And one really awkward thing about main decking Fury in this list, with no way to abuse the Incarnation Evoke or anything, is sorry, the awkward. I keep losing my train of thought today. The awkward thing is that you're playing another creature removal spell that isn't like very good against Murktide, which is or Grixis Shadow, which are two really popular creature decks at the moment. Fury's kind of this kind of card that's kind of like generically good, incredibly effective against like tribal decks, and then like very good against exactly Hammer Time as far as metagame decks go, but is like a subpar option versus Murktide versus Grixis Shadow versus 4-color Omnath versus Living End. And when it's just kind of so mediocre in like this big an array of matchups, I think it is not usually a card I am not into. Alright, probably gonna get Fabled here. I guess I could... No, I guess I should play the Turok, actually. Because if they do the discard mode, I get to grow the Turok and then maybe block the Goblin Shaman. Edo with the 14 months, appreciate you. Isn't K Command good? Can respond and kill transmogrify create 2 targets? Maybe it is good. It's a lot of mana to hold up though. It's kind of the issue I have with Kolaghan's command. So I only got one Turok trigger. Yeah, I agree. I'm pretty anti-firework. Athena was pretty stressed last night, despite there not being that many fireworks around us. Is Mono Green Devotion looking to Tooth and Nail, Emrakul's and a Ghost, 2 Lost, and the Saucer Modern? I think so, yeah. People have tried to play that deck a decent amount in the past in Modern, and it's always been like, you know, you can win games with it, but I mean, if you're trying to put Xenagos Emrakul into play, you should just try to creativity X equals 2 also. Pretty interesting decision points. If they had a polymorph, they could have gone for it last turn. So I think what I'm going to do is channel Sokenzan, double block the Goblin, the next turn go Thoughtseize, escape Kroxa. Yeah, we need to replace fireworks with drone shows. Because drone shows are cooler and safer, and they don't scare dogs. We're making changes to the Phoenix list. Last time I looked at it, I was like pretty comfortable with the 75. I haven't gone over it in a while. Maybe need to revisit it this week. Zach, doing 7 months. I appreciate you. I think any new Extendar cards and Double Masters 2 would dethrone my Murktide decks in Modern. People keep asking about these questions about Double Masters 2 impacting Modern, and like I still can't tell if people are goofing or not. But for those who don't know, not Modern legal. Okay, they tried to get they got a Dwarven Mine. Oh, Dwarven Mine just has 5 colors though. Okay. Fetch a 5-color land, pretty good. And they're getting Jeskai colors. I guess this is a Prismari command. Yeah, fireworks are banned in my city too, but like nobody enforces fireworks bans in America. It's, you know, I don't know. I'll just run for office on the anti-firework party. Trying to convince everybody that drone shows are cooler. Ban announcement today, and the only change is Grinning Ingus banned in Alchemy. Like, who cares? And Doomwick's running on the anti-modern party. Does my dog really hate fireworks? Yeah, she had a really bad incident last year, because everybody in my apartment complex just like shoots off fireworks in the middle of the parking lot, and they like blew up like right in front of her face, and it's really scary for her. Wait, yeah, hold on, yeah, they banned a card in Alchemy? Yeah, I guess I didn't even realize. I didn't realize how weird that is. That they would ban a card in Alchemy. Okay, I'm gonna edict my opponent's crab token. It's kind of funny, but I I don't want them to keep having a stream of chump blockers, and if they do Archon me, it is better for them to have to like remove their Fable. Fuck! Ugh, stupid freaking Veil of Summer. Yeah, it is really weird to ban an Alchemy card, though. That was not on my bingo card for this year. I should have commanded them, not the Veil of Summer you. You should have commander them, not Veil of Summer you. Oh, commanded them to not Veil of Summer. Yeah, I forgot to do that. I know. I do that every once in a while. They didn't copy token to attack. I think they're valuing the defense more. They didn't need to attack, like, because they could just ping my Liliana. But I did draw a removal spell for the reflection. They discard another Fable. Just digging for a creativity. Would I play a Double Masters draft? I have a sealed Double Masters event coming up. On stream, I need to be focused on constructed content. You know, that's what I do for a living, is MTG constructed content. But I may do some drafts, or I guess I'll do specifically sealed off stream to prepare. I'll probably just wing the draft if I top 8, or maybe I'll win my RCQ this weekend, and then I'll probably still play the sealed Double Masters event, but I will not prepare. How do I feel about Obscura Charm in Modern? The card has potential. You know, there's a lot of cards like Obscura Charm in Modern that have enough power level to be playable in Modern, but they have like weird deck building requirements that kind of like pushes them out of the formats without even really getting too much of a chance. Where for Obscura Charm, you need to be playing an Esper deck with a ton of 3-drops, and it's a 3-drop that requires you to play like a lot of 3-drops. And so, while not like an unplayable thing, it's just kind of missing. Oh, wait! I could win if I drew a Lightning Bolt. Could also win if I could escape the Kroxa again. We're playing the RCQ this weekend. I'm not sure. I think it's most likely to be Rakdos. I played Jeskai Lotus Field at the paper one last weekend. I don't know. I feel like the metagame call was okay. Mengucci said it did well at the European tournament he was hosting or commentating at. I had some Rembads. I think the Fable EE gets more stock. I think that's true, actually. I think I agree with that. Bueno Fury, we were already talking about this, but you know, it's very easy to come in and say, why, Spike, are you playing not Fury? And this is the card I would suggest you. Very easy to not say what you would cut the Furies for. But the reality is that of all the metagame decks, Fury is only good against Hammer Time. Fury is subpar against Ragavan, Omnath, Living End, Grixis Shadow, Tron, Titan. It's like Fury is like literally only good against Hammer Time. So if you're not abusing the ETBs with like Ephemerate or Undying Evil, I don't think it's a card that you really want to be main decking. Good against Yogg, yeah, that's true. Good against Yogg, that is another deck. But also that I think that is too small a range of decks for Fury to be good against. It's never terrible, but it is subpar. Fury's good against Merfolk. I mean, Merfolk is just so Merfolk and other tribal decks are so obscure at this point in Modern. I'm just like, I'm not making any deck building decisions based on like the Merfolk matchup. I'm not making any deck building decisions based on the Humans matchup right now. You will play against them every once in a while, and your matchup is still totally fine. You just don't need to think about it that much. Yeah, it's not like it's like win the game against Hammer either. Fury unplayable versus Boros Lotus Field, that's true. Yeah. But a good end of the deck. That deck was really fun yesterday. Hope to get to play some more. Let's keep this. Have you ever had the same meta for so long in Modern history? I feel like I see the same top 8 with Cascade, 4-color Yogg, iteration deck for years. Well, I feel like, yes, this is about the same length of time that, like, you have pretty settled modern metagames. I do think that, you know, what's interesting that this modern metagame is there is, like, a decent amount of wiggle room when you can tech and you can metagame and you can master your deck, and there's, like, a lot of viable decks, but it is also true that, the tier 1... Oh, opponent says BRB, sorry. The tier 1 decks kind of seem like they're staying the same for an extended period of time. Do you prepare differently for RCQ than do online, or is RCQ big enough to be similar to our MTGO? I mean, my process is the same. I don't know that there is, like, another way to do it. I mean, the reality is, like the Magic Online, or the paper metagame is a reflection of the Magic Online metagame that is more, there's a bigger degree of variance and randomness because people are restricted more so by card availability, and they also have a tendency to skew towards fair decks. So like there's a higher representation, I think, in paper of Murktide, Blue-White Control, Grixis Shadow to Hammer Time, Hammer Time, 4-color Omnath. I think there's definitely a higher representation of those decks in paper, but besides that, there's like also like a pretty big degree of randomness. What would I call tier 1 at the moment? I think tier 1 in modern is like pretty easily sorry. It's actually kind of changing a little bit, but it's like Omnath, Murktide, Living End. I think Hammer Time is becoming... Hammer Time players just kind of like decide like month to month if they want to be a tier 1 deck or not, but the deck is very good and is like pretty popular right now, but it's like month to month Hammer Time players just decide to stop playing the deck, and then someone top 8s and they all decide to play it again. Grixis Creativity is a deck that is not like tier 1, but is like... I think that this deck we're playing against is kind of like the new big player in the metagame. Affinity decks are on the up and up. Valakut decks are becoming more popular. Yeah, Rhinos is like a very, very good deck that almost nobody plays. For sure. Okay, my opponent's hand is Wooded Foothills Mystery card. Yeah, if they crack the clue and they draw Creativity in the next 2 draws, I can't hit it with the Inquisition, so I'm gonna wait. I think, yeah, Glimpse Elementals is very good too. No love for Esper Food. I mean, I love Esper Food. Esper Food also like top 8 at a challenge last weekend, by the way. I don't think we talked about that. But I was excited to see that. Okay, I think that I am gonna hold up my Terminate this turn to save against a top deck polymorph effect. But yeah, Esper Food is also like, oh well, this is rough to like not be able to Inquisition the Bolts. I think my play made sense though. Yeah, but Esper Food is also like falling out of favor a little bit because of the uptick in big mana decks. Because like Tron and Valakut are like a lot more popular like the last 2 weeks than they were for like 2 months before that. And so like while they're like the tier 1 decks of like Living End, Murktide, Omnaths have been the same for a long time now. Like the decks that people are like maneuvering to beat those decks have been changing a decent amount. Beseiju Dwarven Mine, okay. How does Leyline work with Dothi? Well, your opponent's Leyline doesn't interact with your Voidwalker, but if you have both in play, they're 2 different replacement effects, and your opponent gets to choose which one they'll replace onto, and they'll basically always choose the Leyline, so you can't Voidwalker them. I mean, I can terminate an Archon. I think I just have to get some pressure going. Yeah, I agree that Blue-Red is on a downswing. I feel like it's probably inaccurate to say that it's not a tier 1 deck at the moment, though. Okay, I think I might actually shock the Blood Crypt here so that I have like a 1-mana removal spell up for a... if they draw Executor Transmogrify. How was Sensei Boros Field? We had a good record with it. I think we were 3-2, 3-2, 0-2, 4-1. How's Blue-White in a non-4-color meta? Good. I also think that blue-white, like, here's another thing about blue-white is I actually don't think it's that bad against 4-color Omnath. I think you're certainly unfavored. Okay, let's just hold that up. What? I have Inquisition? Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have a live target for Inquisition though. You wanted me to cast the Inquisition? Because like they have one unknown card, but they like any like spell the Inquisition could hit. My opponent's already casting there, besides Veil of Summer, which is not good in with the Inquisition. Shadow, it's less played than Rhinos of Blue-White. I think Shadow's pretty good. I've been playing some of it lately. I've been having some success. Alright, let's try to get those last 2 cards out of there. Yeah, I was representing 1-mana removal, just like I said I was when I took the line. Very nice to snipe the creativity. They must have drawn that off the Proving Ground. How's the evaluation of blue-white when played by Waffle Tapa? Here's kind of the thing about, you know, people always say this. Oh, this deck is not good unless Reed Duke is playing it or Waffle Tapa is playing it. And these are obviously, like, you know, best of the best. We love them. But, like, the reality is Supreme Verdict doesn't do anything extra for Waffle Tapa. Reed Duke's Thoughtseizes also just take 1 card. You know, they've spent years and years mastering the archetype and tuning the lists, but you can play the deck as well as they can with enough practice, you know? I firmly believe that. It takes a long time to get there. It takes a long time to get there, but you are capable of doing it. Shocking me is no one plays 4-color Rhinos. I've been playing it since I saw Doom. It's so freaking good. I think the deck's good too. I saw someone playing it at a paper RCQ recently, actually. Maybe you should start on Inquisition. I'm kind of worried about the Veil though. Like, I don't know what I'm possibly hitting with the Inquisition. I'd say Yogg is tier 1.5 since it depends on the pilot. Tier 1.5, you say? Around here, we got something we call tier 4. We got a name for tier 1.5 decks. It's a tier 2 deck. That's your pet deck. I think I'm supposed to go Terminate, Din. Curse you, Veil of Summer. Oh. Okay, so if I fire up Din, they can go down to 7, have another blocker, block, take 6, down to 1. Or if they block the Din, they block the Ragavan, they take 3. So it's probably best to go Voidwalker Inquisition, especially because Inquisition can hit a creativity if that was the draw off the Veil of Summer. I also think your index are tier 2, Tron's tier 2. I mean, this is also kind of like why I don't love to have the tier list conversation, because everybody just has a different definition, you know what I mean? Like, you know, we've got people in the chat declaring, you know, 1.5, 2.5, Yawgmoth is, Yorion is tier 2. But, like, a lot of people seem to have the definition that, like, tiers are, like, power level based, right? Like, Yorion is tier 2 based on, like, power level and positioning. I think that might be right if that's your definition. But I like to evaluate tier as being how popular and represented the decks are. And usually popularity is correlated to power level. It's really, really rare to see a tier 1 deck that's just a terrible choice for a tournament. Although it does happen towards the end of, like, you know, decks rotating in and out of the metagame. But I almost, whenever I'm evaluating tiers, it's always in the context of, how popular the decks are. So, like, at least for tier 1. So tier 1 is the popular decks defining the metagame. Tier 2 decks are decks that are well positioned in a metagame defined by the tier 1 decks. And tier 3 decks are decks that are poorly positioned in a metagame defined by the tier 1 decks, is how I define it. Well, oh, dude, the old tap concede. You love to see it. Ooh, we got Break the Ice on the sideboard. Again, Break the Ice mostly for the 4-color matchup, but Tron is also on the uptick, which is another reason to play the Break the Ices at the moment. I could Voidwalker this Worm Coil. The problem is this Sylvan Scrying just does nothing, so... I'll take the Worm Coil, then hopefully they draw like an Ulamog and I can Voidwalker that. I don't think 4 colors tier 2 incapacity. The whole metagame is shaped around beating it. Yeah, and that's why I would like characterize 4 color as like the textbook definition of a tier 1 deck, because the metagame is like currently warped and revolving around beating 4 color, which is why there's an uptick in Tron and Esper Food and Red Green Valakut, because like they have good matchups against 4 color Omnath. Does that make 4 color Omnath like not an amazing choice for a tournament? Maybe. But that just, you know, again, it's just a definition issue. Okay, I'll take the Stirrings. Gigasta Giganta. I don't think that's probably the line. Did I see the announcement? I do make our reporter on the ground told us that there was a banning of Grinning Ingus and Alchemy. So expect a YouTube video reacting to that any second now. A tier list is the only way, can only get you part of the way to a deck choice for a given event. Yeah, for sure, for sure. So now if they take up Blast Zone to 2, my plan of escaping Kroxa is kind of not that good. What the hell is Alchemy? Good question. I don't know that Alchemy knows what Alchemy is, or what it wants to be. But then again, do any of us know who we are, or what we want to be? Stupid 5/5, huh? If you target yourself, discard, you can Kroxa this turn. I can still Kroxa this turn with the Voidwalker, but you know, maybe that is the line, because the Fatal Push is pretty dead. But I'm also like not really wanting to Kroxa into the Blast Zone is kind of the issue. The Obs in the sideboard are for the burn matchup. I know they don't like really look like it, but that is what they're there for. You should play a deck you enjoy an event because you want to have fun. If your objective is to win, you consider a top tier deck. Solid deck for GP min. Played Hogak and you know I didn't want to. Well, again, this is kind of like the difference of definition, right, Max? Where you're saying 4 color Omnath is a tier 2 deck because your definition of the tier list is how well positioned decks are, I'm assuming, or at least that's what I'm interpreting. But again, my definition would be how well positioned again. Oh, dude, Ugin me for lethal. How popular decks are. Like Omnath is like by most people's definition tier 1. By my definition, tier 1. By your definition, tier 2, right? And that was just the point I was trying to make. I also do disagree too, at least if I'm talking about my definition, this stance that if your objective is to win a tournament, consider a top tier deck. I think you should obviously consider them, but again, with my definition of tier 1 decks are the most popular, tier 2 decks are decks that are well positioned in a metagame defined by the tier 1 decks, and tier 3 decks are poorly positioned ones. I usually think that you need to be looking in those first 2 groups rather than just the first group. But again, I think it just always boils down to a definition issue. Okay, so am I playing Ob over Lightning Bolt? I'm kind of down to try it on the play. Probably not all that good, though. RDK through 2 months. Void Mirror is kind of awkward against Tron, because like any green source just lets them cast all their spells. Okay, we have a turn 2 Ob. Let's keep. RDK, if that's for deck tech, you can post the link in the chat. We could push Giganta to escape Kroxa. Yeah, the problem with escaping Kroxa again that turn is the Blast Zone. And they just Blast Zone both my 2 drops. Okay, well, I'm gonna Nature's Claim. I'm gonna Nature's Claim the Expedition map. Take the Stirrings. Oh, if I take the Stirrings, then they're just going to Warping Wail Ragavan, but I have a backup Ragavan, but I kind of want to Ob next turn. It was correct to Kolaghan's command, Kroxaback to the hand, make them discard. Oh, it's probably actually better to Kolaghan's get Kroxaback, deal them 2, actually. Working on blue-white, it still loses to Emrakul, though, or Ugin. Working on blue-white, I see Emrakul promised almost every sideboard. Is it worth it? Would it be better? That's for the 4-color Omnath matchup. It is a fine choice. It's definitely a reasonable one. So we exiled a tower there. I think we're hitting the tower then. We could sack the Kroxa for the Ob token. We can cast Wormcoil. Oh my gosh. Okay, I mean, I don't know that this is correct, but when given the chance to sack a Wormcoil to your Ob, you do it. When given the chance to sack a Wormcoil to your Ob, you take the line, alright? You take the line that lets you do that one. I think on the draw I'm cutting the Obs, though, for 2 bolts. My opponent concedes before I can make any freaking content! Yeah, how am I supposed to create the content? My opponent's conceding, huh? Yeah. The Break the Ice is like largely tech for the 4-color matchup. I'm not sure how long it will be good tech, but the idea is that like they fetch your basics pretty aggressively against you. The turn 2 Stone Rain can be a really good speed bump for them. I'm not sure how amazing it is, but I do think it is interesting tech. Yeah, I don't think Voidmire is good in the matchup. I think I just said this, but the problem with Voidmire is that they can just like play all their spells with, if they can get a green source. They also bring in answers for artifact enchantments a lot of the time. So I don't know about this hand. We are on the draw. We have a turn 1 Ragavan. We have a turn 1 Needle for a map. Like turn 1 Ragavan is always the best card in this matchup. I think this hand is a keep. It's awkward that the Shinka is not a dual land though. We also have we have a really good top end. Ragavan on turn 1 is just so premium against Tron, and my opponent's on the Mold of 5. White Tade's turn 2 Serene and Sinkhole. Okay, yeah, sure. I should be saying Sinkhole. Is Shinka required? I would say Shinka is like the if your goal is to like budget for the red-black mid-range deck, Shinka is the last card I recommend buying, or Shinka or the other one, the Fear one. But I do think it is good in the deck. I do think it's good in the deck. So my opponent revealed Expedition map. Okay, well, good to draw land here. Expedition map. Into a concede. Let's go. 3-0. Tile through 29 months. Appreciate you. Oh yeah, Urborg with Voidmire is also a non-bone too. Maybe you do. Yeah, with Shrapnel Blast, the helps you like cast your Madness cards. Which with Cruise, like if this is card disadvantage, you get to mitigate the card disadvantage sometimes. This looks kind of fire. I don't know. I mean, all your 1-drops are also. I guess you have blue 1-drops. But I feel like I would be playing the full 4 Blood Crypt over like Drowned Catacombs 3 and 4. It's also kind of interesting to only be playing 2 Alms main deck. Maybe that's fine, but I feel like you might want to play the full 4. Opponent is not here yet. Imagine getting 4 Gold Hounds altered like Athena. That'd be pretty cool. Oh, yeah. Maybe, yeah, Epicure is probably better than Goldhound, right? Because it makes a blood token when it's a Madness Enabler. Yeah, Epicure is better than Goldhound. That's it, for sure. Good work, chat. Cyber looks pretty clean, too. I don't think I've got too many nodes. Looks fine. How does it help with Madness? Epicure makes a blood token, and you can discard your Madness card with your blood token. Cold Town is better with Cruise. Yeah, but Cruise is already like amazing in this deck, right? You already have like so many looters and such a cheap curve. Cruise is already like, you know, the best card. Oh, Epicer is also really good with the ninja. Yeah, you get to ninjutsu your Epicer and then reuse the blood token. Well, this looks awesome though. I would make that change. You can maybe consider doing a 3-3 split of Vampire's Kiss with Alms now that you have Epicer in. I'm not sure that's definitely good. You could just kind of consider it, but love it. Okay, consider Dress Down, Unholy Heat. I think I'll take the Dress Down and then play around the removal, and I can kick the Turok without it getting Dressed Down. That list was awesome though. I don't know whose deck tech that was. I just saw Doc like post it, but love it. I love the deck techs where I just get to tear up a little bit and say, "You did good, chat. You did good." Good tear in my eye. Yeah, I think with the Turok in my hand, I'm interested in just like leaving these removal spells in there. And like, you know, I'll get a 3-for-1 when I kick the Turok. I can play around them. It's like kind of bad if I don't take the Shredder 2 and they draw another Shredder, or they draw a Murktide, and I don't have another removal spell. Cold Town has Menace. Doesn't have First Strike? Doesn't have First Strike and Menace. Had RCQ at Boardwalk Goat? Not that well. I played Jeskai Lotus Field. I thought it was a good metagame call. Mingu made me feel better and said that it did do well at the European tournament this weekend. But I just kind of had some run bads and O2 dropped. Feels bad. It has Menace. Ooh. Guess the card is alright, huh? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not saying I definitely made the best deck choice. But I thought it played all right. Now I played against a Jund player who I just couldn't beat the turn 2 Liliana on the play, despite them like making like a decent number of mistakes. I just couldn't beat the Liliana. And then I played against a Jeskai Affinity deck, and if I had been at one more life in games 1 and 2, then I would have stabilized and won the game. And I was just like 1 life too low. That's how it goes with the control deck sometimes. Waffled 60 months. Maybe I could have played a little differently too. All right, so they got no cards in their hand. I think I play the Voidwalker over Animating Den. It's maybe close. It's better if they hit an iteration, maybe too. Pretty sure RCQ format's supposed to be Pioneer. No, they can be any format. Ode of War. Okay, that's fine. Waffle, think of 16. I thought the same thing, by the way. I thought the exact same thing when I was, you know, reading that they were modern, but they can be any format. Or I guess maybe not. Yeah, modern standard sealed, not a Kamigawa block tiny leaders. Rod, think of Twitch Prime, appreciate you. 3 mana, probably for a 5/5 Murktide. Which is interesting. They have me on a 3-turn clock. I have them on a 4-turn clock. But if they if they attack, then it's different. I think I'm just gonna return Turok. Deal them 2 here. How do you board? Cyber Esper Food against Yawgmoth. Have trouble with the cyber decisions. The most important card is your Pithing Needle, and then like you're pretty incentivized to like play Saga turn 1 and Pithing Needle them. I guess that is one deck I didn't have on my Cyber. I need to add it for my modern Cyborg guys with Channel Fireball. I'll pull it up though. I usually bring in the. I think I bring in the Prismatic Endings too. I think in that matchup I like to bring in the Needle, the Prismatic Endings, cut the. I think I'm going down 3 Shredder 2 on Earth. In that matchup. No, the Shredder, the flying is good, but you want to keep in the combo, and you need to bring in this removal without diluting the combo. Yeah, so I think it's 3 Shredder, 2 Unearth. I think you want to leave in the Shadow Spear, and you need to leave in the drum when you're boarding in white cards. Yeah, I've heard some people say I don't feel like this is necessarily a conversation that I want to be talking about on stream, but yeah, I've heard the same thing that people don't like the Pepe memes because the alt-right uses them sometimes, but it's also the reality that like the Pepe memes are like incredibly common on Twitch. Like it's kind of hard to go to any Twitch channel without seeing them, and like that on like at least on this website, I think it's really hard to interpret that being as the case here. Yeah, Max, I mean, you know, Penguin there is using like the okay sign as like an example, right? I think you're just also misinterpreting the argument there, or the point being made there by by using it. I don't know. On Twitch, the Pepe is like so widespread. I think it's really, really hard to argue that like it's being used in like context at all here. You're also like fine to disagree, but I think it's like also like pretty hard or like disingenuous to pretend like you don't understand like the other side of the argument either. Okay, so we're bringing in the extra Hearse, the third Liliana. I think just going down 2 Voidwalkers, clicking submit. Logan, 2 months, appreciate you. Lorca with the 9 months, thank you. You playing any other games? I'm playing Persona 5 at the moment. Dude, okay, I was starting to play Persona 5 on like last week, right? And I was like squinting the whole time. I had to like sit really close to the TV because I didn't have my glasses yet. And I just wasn't enjoying it that much. But now I have my glasses and I'm kicking it back on the couch and I can read the TV now. And I'm enjoying the game a lot more because I can read. Okay, against them shocking Steam Vents and me having only 1 black source and multiple red sources, I think it makes sense to lead on Inquisition here. The next turn I can go Inquisition or push plus Ragavan. Yeah, Break the Ice does come in for 4 color. That's mostly why I'm playing it as some like new tech against 4 color. Then I'm gonna wait to play Persona on Switch. Yeah, I think that's probably a good place for it. I haven't played it before, so this is my first foray into any of the Persona games. Although I have played Catherine when I was like 18 or 19. I haven't played Full Body though. Just the original one. Positivity with the tier 1. Appreciate you. Dicey Sultai for Time Sieve, splashes green for Nature's Claim instead of Ending. I have seen it. I think that Ending is better though, because like you're mostly playing that card for the Hammer Time matchup, in like any Urza Saga deck with Pithing Needle, and the fact that Ending hits Sanctifier in Vec and that Ending hits like any of their creatures, I think is better. But I have seen people play green instead for Ending, or for sorry, Nature's Claim. Never seen someone so happy about getting glasses. Yeah, I didn't really realize how how like bad my vision was until I got them, and my quality of life is like really immediately improved by a lot, which is good. They top aided a RCQ. Yeah, I think that's like fine. I think playing Nature's Claim is fine. It's like it's not much different, but I still think Ending is better. So Iteration into Spire Bluff Canal to Mishra's Bauble to double Mishra's Bauble, which is good against my Turok. Dang it. Well, we're probably still Turoking the last card. The last card's a red removal. This Turok's so bad. Okay, it's Jace the Mind Sculptor, a bit better then. So I get to start the turn with 3 cards. Nature's Claim bailed me out of a lot of spots where Ending could not. Many times instant speed interaction to gain 4 life. So at least as far as the gain 4 life point goes, I don't think that that's something that really draws me much to the card, because of the fact that the bird matchup's already so good. You're a cookbook deck. Like, the bird matchup is like already amazing. Instant speed interaction against Hammer Time is a really good point. So the decision here is Nature's Claim is instant speed interaction against Hammer, while Prismatic Ending kills their creatures and specifically Sanctifier, in fact, I think is like the big distinctive point here. Okay, so I'm gonna play this Kroxa so that we can not get our Seasoned Pyromancer countered. Yeah, deck is humming today. Opponent very likely has some permission up here. I think I'm going to go return Ragavan, make them discard a card. I think that I would rather them use their permission on the Kolaghan's Command rather than the escaped Kroxa, because I can't escape again. I think I'm probably supposed to play Liliana also if this gets countered. There is like, okay, if it gets countered with Archmage's Charm, I'm just not going to play around Spell Pierce into Murktide. If they have Spell Pierce into Murktide, good beats. Or maybe even still beating it because we have the Kroxa. Been hearing arguments that Fable is better than Spire lately. Seeing me on 0 makes me question that. Yes, I think Seasoned Pyromancer is a lot better than Fable in this deck. Especially because, like, without Seasoned Pyromancer in this deck, your Fable has, like, nothing good to copy. You have, like, exactly Dauthi Voidwalker, which is good to copy, but... Fable of the Mirrorbreaker is really good in creativity because it has a ton of synergy in that deck. And I know that, like... I know that there was an Arilax tweets declaring Seasoned Pyromancer to be worse than Fable, but and like decks like I've played Fable in decks like this, and I think that is, you know, not the case. Although I am kind of interested in Fable in Jund Saga, where you have artifact synergies with the token generation, and you get to keep Gigantha as a companion. So like that might be another place for it. But I think just sweeping and declaring Fable is better than Seasoned Pyromancer is just like not true. I'm escaping Kroxa instead of been attacking. Okay, let's get a 5-0 prediction going. Good start to today. What are the pros and cons of Rakdos compared to Jund? Rakdos has a better big mana and 4-color Omnath matchup while being worse against Jund and Grixis Shadow specifically. Yeah. If you're playing Fable in a fair deck, like, you should be playing, like, Fury, Seasoned Pyromancer. Like, I think Fable's pretty good in Rakdos Scam, too, because you have the Incarnations to copy. Oh, another Tron deck. I do think we have a good Tron matchup. Yeah, I'm just going to take the Star and the Scrying and hope to draw my third land for Liliana. Kind of classic. Discard spell to discard spell to Liliana on the play against Tron. Although I do have to draw the land. Why not Dragon's Claw? I'm playing Ob Nixilis over Dragon's Claw. I do think it's close. One nice... Oh, they drew the Sylvan Scrying. Yikes. So now they can... No, if I drew the land, I would be able to... if I drew the land, I would be able to maybe get them off of, like, their threats that turn. Not this turn, though. Although maybe I can draw another Thoughtseize and just Ulamog them. My opponent's hand... Oh, also... Oh, okay, this is actually... Oh, dang it. I was going to say, one more... if I drew a land and I make them discard with Kolaghan's Command or Liliana, I guess they could just pop the relic, but like they would have to either like let me have a Karn or an Ulamog or like lose their Tron. But I guess they would just pop the relic actually. I haven't played Fable yet. In theory, it seems really good to be in the same deck as Seasoned Pyromancer. Do they normally take the same slot, or are they hard to play together? So, in this deck, you could play Fable of the Mirrorbreaker over Seasoned Pyromancer. I think when you make that deck building decision, I don't love that you are. I don't love that you are losing out on Lilianas, which are really important to answer Murktide regions. To pressure Liliana, I think is actually like surprisingly actively good against 4-color Omnath, and I think is better than Fable of the Mirror Breaker against 4-color Omnath. And Liliana is also better against big mana decks, usually better against combo decks. And then you also lose the Kolaghan's commands that I'm playing too. And so Kolaghan's command, I think is important to hedge against the Hammer Time decks, which have been increasing in popularity lately. I know that I've been kind of struggling against those with Rakdos. But, you know, it's also like, if you think that, if you really are just like this high on Fable, like, you can't, it's fine to play it. It's not like the card is bad. But, you know, there's a lot of reasonable cards to play. You gotta pick the best one. Okay, let's go to game 2. Weirdly enough, like, holding the Thoughtseize was the winning line, but obviously we didn't know that because we didn't have the Voidwalker in hand. So I think I like Ob on the play, and then I just play the bolts on the draw. It's my current plan. Yeah, Rakdos Yorion. Fable lets you cast your Yorion. Fable and Ragavan. Okay, so discard spell into turn 3 Liliana on the play against Tron. I think is not great, but I think just barely good enough to keep. Yeah, we have Break the Ice in the sideboard largely because we're trying to hedge against the Tron matchup. Forest Mine Tower. And a map, so I guess I take the... Yeah, this hand just gets Tron no matter what. Yeah, so I guess I take the Sphere. I'll take the Sphere so this way they don't get the cantrip towards a big payoff. And because they could go Mine, Sphere, then play Scrying turn 2 and have a cantrip into the Tron, but now they have to play the map, which is not, you know, huge difference. Side in Voidmirror, can't cast spells unless he has Forest. Well, I have an Urborg in the deck, so I'd have to side out the Urborg to bring in Voidmirror. Also, like, the opponents, like, very easily have a Forest. Like, you know, it is not difficult for my opponent to have the Forest. Worst if you top deck discard spell? That's true, yeah. Which isn't what happened. I would have molded that for Cyber cards versus Tron. I mean, historically, on the play, discard spell in turn 3 Liliana, I found to be a good formula against Tron. You could have mulliganed the hand too. I think the keep is fine. Definitely would not have faulted anybody for mulliganing. Stirrings into Chromatic Sphere. So I think I need to Inquisition the Chromatic Sphere. And then they have a Warping Wail for Ragavan anyways, so I think then we go Liliana, discard Ragavan, then Seasoned Pyromancer. Oh, counter. Fair enough. Probably just still Seasoned Pyromancering. They discard the Chromatic Sphere. That's really bad for me. Voidwalker Thoughtseize is interesting. Maybe a little too slow here, though. They kept Sylvan Scrying in their hand, did they? Oh, no, I discarded that. Yeah, they have the Ugin. The not super surprising Ugin. 4 loyalty. Gonna be incredibly, incredibly difficult to beat. I do have a Needle. Down to 10. Okay, so I go Escape Kroxa. Escape Kroxa, my opponent -2s. And then I can draw land, Kolaghan's Command 2 damage, return Ragavan, kill Ugin. It's a plan. Makes the plan a little harder. Makes the plan teensy tiny bit harder. I accidentally bet doubt. That's funny. Don't bet on Reckless versus Tron. We beat Tron earlier. We have a good Tron matchup. We've got Break the Ice on the sideboard. I think that their hand definitely lined up very well against mine, but I don't feel too bad about the keep overall. I mean, it's okay, chat. Crop the 16 months. Appreciate you. Could have maybe mulliganed. I'm not sure. Just historically, in my experience, discard spell into turn 3 Liliana is very often a winning hand on the play against Tron. Still got the 4-1. Feeling good about the list. Gonna run it back. I really want to play against 4-color Omnath and test the Break the Ice tech. Can we play it out for the lulz? Nope. There's no lulz to be had. Only